Well, what is going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. I got something really cool on the table. A few years ago now, Microtech and Rike got together and did a whole bunch of collaborations. And that made me really happy because I know that Microtech made great knives, but I don't really carry autos. Here in California, it's a bit of a challenge, but beyond that, I don't like out the front. That is just not a knife that has ever really served me in a way that I needed it to. And so the offerings from Microtech, for me at least, were very limited. And then they did this. Well, where'd it go? Stand by. Right, sorry about that. Actually, they did this. And I really like this knife. I missed them when they first dropped. You know, life is what it is. I chased them and chased them and chased them, and I finally got this. And I have a real problem when it comes to knives. I don't go that long without bringing a new knife into my life. When I got this Socom Bravo, I didn't buy a knife for a really long time. And I didn't because this thing is everything that I really like in a pocket knife. It is exceptionally comfortable to hold. It is big. It has just a gorgeous blade. It is very slicey. The action is superb. Fit, finish, and build quality on these things is absolutely out of this world. Yes, I have seen people beat on them enough to cause problems with this sort of build, right? It is built to some very, very tight tight specs. And so if you bang on it enough, you can probably cause problems. But the way I use a knife, it has never been an issue. And I love this thing. I like the little one. You guys know I don't carry a lot of small knives, right? I love the Bravo. I do. I don't like the traditional Socoms because I don't like tip-down carry. I just don't. And so that didn't really work for me, but these did. And I've been very happy with my Bravo and the Bravo Mini for a long time. I actually have two of these. I got a traditional blade, and then I got this one, which is just very cool. However, recently a buddy of mine had this, and he was looking to sell or trade, and I was moving some stuff around. And recently, I've just sort of been into DLC, and you guys saw the video earlier. That's kind of this thing's fault, but it started a little bit before that. I haven't reviewed this yet, but I'm going to. In fact, keep an eye out for this maybe a few days from now. But anyway, this is the Max Ace Peregrine in full DLC, right? It is EDP 189 in DLC. It is high polished DLC. It's got Damascus inlays, right? This is just a beautiful knife. And up until then, this knife really, I've been sort of like, I don't care about DLC. But then I started carrying a knife with a DLC blade and realized that it is really tough. Diamond Light Carbon creates a very, very thin coating over the blade that is really, really, really tough. And I just think that's cool, right? So I picked up another knife here and there. Shortly after that, I got a hold of this, which at the time I didn't realize how rare they are. This is a Stonewash polished DLC XM24. It's even DLC on the titanium scale, on the lock side. This thing's very cool. So, as I was poking around in his stuff that he was trying to move, I saw this and I thought, well, is it different enough from the one I've had forever to make me want to get one? And the answer was yes. So, if you've seen the review on the basic Socom Bravo, there's nothing really different here. This is still their M390 MK, see, this is M390, standard M390. This is the Signature series, as are recently all of their new titanium line is the Signature series. I love this knife. I just do. So I thought I'd share it with you guys, and I hope you don't mind. In every other regard, it's exactly the same. It is carbon fiber, it is titanium, it is running on bearings. It is a full-length, semi-free-floating backspacer. It's got jimping right where you'd want it. It is exceptionally comfortable. The action on these things is just next level. That's no different. I'm a little bummed out because it's been made clear to me, and they're saying it, that they are no longer working directly with Rike. And that means that these, while they may appear again in the future, it's not guaranteed. And so I was happy to grab this. As I mentioned in a recent review for the Amphibian, Microtech, I feel, when they were making these, took home a series of important lessons, and that enabled them to do this. So I guess they don't really need Rike anymore, right? But when they did, they made what is, to me, one of the all-time great pocket knives. Which do you prefer? Do you like the silver and black, or do you like the all-black DLC? I like them both equally. These get a lot of pocket time. Now, while my go-to shit hits the fan knife has been and will remain for a very long time, the 8010, believe it or not, this is a close second. I know frame locks are not for everyone, and given the amount of knives that are out in the world now, when somebody's tired of something, they just stay tired of it. And so frame locks have sort of fallen out of favor. But from way back when apparently Chris Reeve invented them, or at least brought them to market in this way first, they set a tone for a knife locking system that just works. It's not the best, it's not the strongest, right? There are stronger, right, locking mechanisms. There are more durable, locking mechanisms. That's true. There are button locks, which people love or hate, but they're out there, right? But the frame lock continues to just do what it's supposed to in a really good way. Anyway, there are a couple of things working in this knife's favor that others have to compete with. One is the size and the shape of it just works for my hand. That may not be the case for you. You may have a smaller hand, in which case, though, they do make the little one. But you know when a design works, when they can shrink it down and it still fits perfectly. This pocket clip, which is fairly tall, creates no hotspot for me. The way the jimping, as I said, is laid out on this knife, it feels very, very seated in the hand. The drop point blade, which I just think is beautiful in design, comes down to the secondary bevel in such a way that it absolutely maintains, as long as you can maintain it yourself, but it holds an edge beautifully. It is very slicey while being thick enough to be tough. These are really good. Recently, I mentioned in a video that not all knives work. So I got this. This is the Null Knives Vandal. And I got it, one, there was a lot of hype around it. But two, the design aesthetic made me think of this knife, right? Turns out that when things don't come together in exactly the same way, it doesn't always work out the same way. So it's not just the size, right? The Vandal is an excellent pocket knife. There's a review coming. But I don't like it nearly as much as this thing. And part of it has to do with how thin it is here. And the fact that there's really no belly. It's sort of a modified tanto, and so you give up a lot of cutting area forward because there's no way to roll the knife, right? You just kind of teeter-totter back over this little tanto point right here. Don't get me wrong. Even though this isn't a knife that absolutely blows my mind, it is a fantastic pocket knife. Making the review for this was really interesting because while I enjoy it, well, anyway, you'll see the review. Anyway, the long and the short of all that is that I now have two, and they're different enough that it makes me happy. It does bum me out that I don't think that I make any more of these. I think that they're giving up on an excellent pocket knife that's got a place in the market. As I was saying a second ago, there are alternatives, but they just aren't quite the same. I think that when you find something that really works for you, you should make sure that you have that thing. So not only do I have these two, but I'm going to keep my eyes open for a third one because I'd like to have one that I can have 10 years from now. I don't know how long these are going to last. The way I use a knife, maybe they're going to last forever. I'm not exactly hard on my cutting tools. But given that they're probably not going to be out there forever, I think I'm going to seek out at least one more of this one. I'd really like to find a tanto, but those have become very hard to find. Let's do the basic specs, and then we'll sort of roll out of here. You get just about 3 3/4 inches of cutting on 4 inches of that M390. The grip area from right back there is 4 1/4 inches. Tip to tail, we are talking about a 9-inch knife. I do love the in-the-pocket profile for this thing, right? You're talking about a little over 1.5 inches at its widest. Action's very good, as always. It is not a deep carry knife, and I sort of wish that there was an alternative clip for this. I haven't found one yet, but I'll keep my eyes open. The DLC coating on that M390 means that this blade is more likely to last unscathed than this one. However, as these are really hard to come by, I'll probably always be a little nicer to this one than I am to this one, but we'll see how it goes over time. And that's really it. This is just a great pocket knife that I got a slightly more interesting version of. But that's collecting, isn't it? You find something that works for you, and first you get it, and then you get things that are similar. How about you out there in the world? What is that one knife that just seems to work for you? What's your favorite? Let me know down in the comments. I appreciate your time. Hope you guys are having a great day. Remember, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.